Hello, book lovers. I know what you're thinking. It is halfway through the month and I am just now posting this video. Well, you see here. Let me explain. Due to Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events, I couldn't film this video until now. I'm sorry. The end of May was super busy for me and I was traveling. I was also traveling beginning of June and didn't have time to film this video beforehand. And then I also had to start filming other videos and get back to work from my traveling. So here we are with this really late May reading wrap up. A special twist on this May reading wrap up, okay, as if you couldn't tell by the title of the video, we all know why you're here. I am going to be pyramid ranking every single book I read in May. I only read 6 books, not much to pyramid rank, honestly. Let's kind of just get into it, okay? Let's just get into it. You're asking, Taylor, why are you sitting in this chair on the computer? Well, let me explain. Due to another series of unfortunate events, my printer has no ink. I thought I had printer ink. I don't know. I was gonna do it the way more fun way of ripping the paper off and showing you the book, but I had to get creative. I had to improvise, and here we are. And I'm gonna pyramid rank them on my computer for you with a slideshow. So we're not gonna complain. We're gonna take what we get. Okay? I had this really fun idea, and it was kind of ruined when I realized I didn't have any ink. So I improvised. Okay? Now that we've cleared the air. Now that that's all cleared up, as if you were actually wondering. Let's get into it. Pyramid ranking my May reads. I'm very excited. This took me like 2 minutes. I literally cannot believe I did this in 2 minutes. Well, okay, not this part, but I meant the part that you're gonna see, okay? Look at this. Look at our little pyramid ranking. Look at that. Like I said, I only read 6 books in May. I was super busy throughout the month, so I only ended up reading 6 books. Now, I don't have any like statistics or anything like that, but I can sure tell you they were all romance. Obviously, I'll tell you a little bit about each. The actual rankings of the book have nothing to do with what I actually rated the books. It was just how I like felt about the books in general and as to where I feel like they should have been placed. First book on the bottom of the pyramid, Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Girly, I expected more. I ended up rating this book a 3.25. And the book itself, I liked. It was fine. It just like, I think in my head, I hyped it up a little bit too much, especially compared to the Chestnut Springs series. It just didn't hit. It just didn't hit the way that it was meant to. I just didn't love it so much. Like it was fine. Like I keep saying, it was fine. Like there was nothing wrong with it. It was a little fun read. I feel like it could have been better. And I'm hoping that the rest of the Rose Hill series is better. Like I know this series centers around single dads, I'm pretty sure. I'm hoping that it does get a little bit better, but it just like didn't hit. I don't know what it was about it. Ford was fine. He seemed great. Just wasn't my favorite guy that Elsie Silver has ever written. And then Rosie, she was kind of a brat. Like she was just like this like 20, I think she was in her 20s or something like that. I can't remember. Like 28, 29 range or something. And she was just kind of a brat for her age. Granted, I'm also a brat, but a different way. We're gonna move on. But yeah, so like the whole like childhood enemies to friends to lovers, I don't know, just like was weird to like, it wasn't weird and it was explained, but a lot of it was just like, I don't even know how, I really don't know how to explain it. I don't know where I'm going with this. But either way, it wasn't my favorite. They did talk about like the immaturity of them, but like all of a sudden it was like they weren't together and then they were together. Like it was a very 180 shift of like, okay, we're not together. Oh, now we are. Like, I don't know, like that shift just like didn't really make too much sense to me. I don't have anything else to say about it. It was on the bottom of the pyramid. I'm sorry. I just expected more from you. I just expected more. I really thought I was gonna get a 5-star read. And I just didn't. That was a bit disappointing. Moving on. Next up, Funny Feelings by Tara Dewitt. This one was fine. Honestly, I don't really remember what I gave. I feel like I gave this one a 3 stars. I don't really remember it. Like, I remember that they're 2 comedians and like, you know, the whole point of their relationship is for them to fake date because she's going on this like tour or whatnot. So she wants to drive some publicity. I just like didn't like I just personally for a rom-com didn't think it was like that funny. Like it was okay. I really wasn't that entertained. Like I read it while I was on vacation and I read it on the drive and stuff like that, and like it was just fine. Like that was it. Like a lot of people had hyped this book up. From what I saw, it just like didn't live up to the expectations of like what other people said. And I also thought for some reason this was like an accidental pregnancy trope. Personally, I don't mind an accidental pregnancy trope, so I was actually like looking forward to like reading one after a while, and that just wasn't it. This was actually another single dad trope, a bit of an age gap trope as well. So yeah, I don't know what it was about it. I just didn't love it. Like, I just didn't think it was that funny. With female comedians, reasons why I don't really like them is because they tend to be a little bit more vulgar in their comedy. That was a decent amount of like the comedy that the girl in this portrayed. I don't even remember her name. That the girl in this like portrayed. Like she portrayed more vulgar comedy and more like skits and stuff like that. So like, I don't know. I guess that's just like not my cup of tea. So yeah, I ended up rating it, I think, a 3 stars. It was fine. It was okay. Not my favorite. I feel like the conflict wasn't really a conflict that needed to be happening. And like, I think they were just both like not communicating. It was just not. Let's go on to the next book. The Quit List by Katie Bailey. You may be wondering, why is this on the bottom row? Honestly, I just haven't thought about it. Like, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Katie Bailey. She, I think, like, deserves so much more hype than what she gets, okay? I think I ended up rating this one a 4 stars or a 4.25 stars. I really, really loved this. Katie Bailey is like a no spice romance author, but she writes incredible freaking banter, let me tell you. Okay, the romance, like the fact that she's able to write these stories while not giving any spice, giving such great romance and banter, anticipation, and like longing. Like, she is amazing. I think she's so great for an indie author. All her books are on Kindle Unlimited, so I highly, highly, highly recommend that you go check her out. The Quit List basically, though, is about Holly and Jax become unlikely friends. Basically, Holly is like trying to find a husband. She's like, hey, you seem to know about dating. You seem to know what guys like and what is wifey material. So please help me, right? So she asked Jax this. And so he's like, sure, okay. He's not interested in a relationship whatsoever, which we all know where that goes. And they just become unlikely friends, you know? He kind of tells her things like, all right, these are things that you should be looking for, not like physical traits and not just like out in the open, like occupation. He was like, you need to be looking for this type of quality that you want in a husband and not just like going out on dates with people because they fit this like physical type for you that you're looking for. Because she's been going on a real bad stream of dates, real bad streams. Okay, basically how the story goes. It's really fun, really, really cute. The longing and the anticipation and just the chef's kiss, okay? Granted, this is on the 3rd row. This is only because I kind of forgot about it. I forgot I read it. But I did have such a fun time while I was reading it, okay? Next up, 3rd on the pyramid, The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This is my first Elena Armas book. Let me tell you, I was having a good old freaking time with this book, okay? I was having such a good time. It was just like funny, the enemies to lovers, chef's kiss to enemies to lovers, okay? I love that shit. And just like him, like just showing her he actually likes her and she's just being dumb. I kind of love. Like, I kind of love that in silly, goofy romance books because it's like, girly pop, how do you just not realize? Like, how do you just not realize this man is actually flirting with you and actually likes you? And you're over here like, he hates me. Why is he doing all these nice things for me? Excuse me? Who are you? How are you this dumb? Basically, the Spanish love deception, a fake dating trope. I love that. She's like, I need you to come back to Spain with me for a wedding because I told my family I have a boyfriend. And he offers. He like offers, and she was just talking about it to her friend and she was like, huh? Like, no, there's just no way. I did end up really, really loving this book. I think I gave this one a solid 4 stars, maybe 4.5 stars. Either way, it's within that 4.5 star range. I absolutely loved it. It was just such a fun time. And plus, like, kicking off to summer, going on a summer vacay, love, okay? I hate the way I sound right now. I'm so sorry. That was really cringy. Ugh. Okay, let's move on, I think. I don't need anything else to say about that other than the fact that I absolutely loved it and the fact that more people aren't talking about it. Granted, I do think it had its time. I did come to Book Talk a little bit late, or BookTube a little bit late in the game, because this definitely had its time. I'm like, how come nobody's talking about this book? Because when I read it, I literally was like, how come I'm giggling, kicking my feet, having the best time in the world? And nobody's talking about it. That's all I gotta say. A lot more people need to read it. I was very lucky. I read it on Kindle Unlimited when it was on there. But now all of Elena Armas' stuff is off Kindle Unlimited. So that is disappointing. I really wanted to read another book by her. So anyways, moving on. 2nd overall on the pyramid, we have The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. This was another silly, goofy, fun time, let me tell you, okay? Silly, goofy, fun time. I gave this one a solid 4 stars. The goofiness, it's just not very realistic in like the way that the characters would necessarily act, especially in situations. The thing is, with Sarah Adams, what she does best, I feel like, is plays into the ridiculousness of her books, which make them a silly, goofy, fun time. You know what I mean? The book and the plot, like, was kind of like really not outlandish, but kind of out there and not very realistic. But like, because she plays so much into it being unrealistic and like just goes hard in that, it just like makes a good book, because she knows it's a silly, goofy, fun time, and this is not something to be like serious or like playing off to be serious like some other books that I've read where I'm like, oh no, you're really trying to turn this into something like serious. But this is just not realistic in the slightest. So yeah, I had a silly, goofy, fun time while reading this. Nora and Derek, they're great. This is a second chance romance and also fake dating trope. He is a professional football player and she is his agent, and they kind of get mixed up in some things, you know? He doesn't realize that Nora is going to be his agent, and then once he sees that it's her who's going to be his brand new agent, he's like, I'm not having this. They end up working out a deal. He does allow her to be his agent for a trial period, and things spiral from there. You know, it's a silly, goofy, fun time, and I highly, highly recommend. So just go into it with that knowledge. Go into it with the knowledge of knowing that it's unrealistic and goofy and silly, and I think you're gonna have a fun time. All right, and on the top of the pyramid, and this is gonna shock you all. Funny story by Emily Henry. Who would have thought, honestly, that an Emily Henry book would have been at the top of my pyramid this month? Crazy. And now, if you've never watched any of my videos before, I'm just letting you know, fair warning, I am not an Emily Henry stan. I'm not the biggest fan of her books. The pacing, the type of books that she writes, they're just not necessarily for me. I don't know what it is about them. Like, I like them, but I don't love them like everybody else. Like, everybody else is like super, super into her, but I kind of think most of her writing is boring. But now, here I am with an Emily Henry book at the top of my pyramid. I absolutely loved Miles and Daphne. This like really took me for a surprise too, okay? Like literally, I still think about this book and I still think about these characters. Like, this book that she wrote reads like a genuine rom-com. Like, there was times where I audibly laughed out loud while reading it, and that just never happens when I'm reading one of her books. Just never. I loved the trope. The trope was a fake dating, but it doesn't consume the story either. Whereas like other books really do just consume the story to like move the plot along. Kind of like with The Spanish Love Deception. That's like a good example of like the entire book is just the trope. There's nothing wrong with that, but you know, sometimes it's really nice to see like how the plot can progress without just that being its sole driving force. And that was a really big thing in Funny Story that I really loved, because that was not the sole driving force. If you guys don't know what this book is about, basically Miles and Daphne end up having to be roommates because both of their significant others left them for each other. Wild, right? I know, it's crazy. They end up having to be roommates, so they end up fake dating to make their exes a little jealous, make them a little annoyed that they broke up with them, and now they're dating. It is a really fun time and a really fun like growth of friendship within there, and them just becoming friends and them getting to know each other and them just being themselves and living for their best life after this tragic, horrible breakup that they've both gone through. I ended up giving this one, I think I ended up giving this one a 4.5 stars. Honestly, I absolutely love it. I don't, it's definitely not a 5-star. Like, I don't think about it too much, but I did absolutely love it. I absolutely loved the banter between Daphne and Miles. Miles, chef's kiss. I'm ready to throw hands with whoever doesn't like him, okay? Because the amount of people that I saw say they didn't like Miles, I was like, do you need glasses? Do you need glasses? Because where do you see that? Where in your brain were you like, I don't like Miles? Because let me tell you, I was 20 pages in and I was in love with him. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't like him? Like, yeah, he's got some flaws, especially in the beginning where he's got some, you know, things he's working through. He's genuinely a nice guy and genuinely wonderful. Anyone who says they don't like him, I'm ready to throw hands with. But anyways, I think that's it. That is every book that I read, my pyramid ranking for my May reads. I hope you had a fun time, because I did. Anyway, guys, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you liked this and that this was a fun way to do my May reading wrap up. I am very excited to do other May, like, reading wrap ups like this, because I just think it's fun. Like, this is, I don't know, this is fun. Anyways, I really hope that eventually in the future I'll be able to do it like a normal pyramid ranking. But if you like this way, let me know, because I would definitely do it like this again. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social medias, as well as subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.